most highly anticipated criminal trials in recent memory is now underway.
Aaron Lewis, he's accused of kidnapping and killing local real estate agent Beverly Carter.
Well, obviously we have a big battle in front of us.
It's completely overwhelming.
The burden of proof is on the prosecution.
Lewis's estranged wife now testifying against her husband.
As we speak, Aaron Lewis is currently being cross-examined.
Aaron Lewis has just been found guilty of 2 charges.
You can never punish someone harshly enough.
Felt this figurative chains falling off that we've just been carrying around since Mom disappeared.
Tonight, justice for a real estate agent, wife, mother, and grandmother whose life ended far too soon. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Katz. It took a jury just 1 hour tonight to convict Aaron Lewis. He is the man accused of kidnapping then killing Beverly Carter in 2014. Lewis himself was among the last to testify in this trial in his own defense. Now, in the end, the jurors did not believe his story that he played no part in Carter's death.
We have team coverage of this conviction. KRK4's Drew Petrimo anchors our coverage from the Pulaski County Courthouse this evening.
Well, it took jurors only about 1 hour to come back with their verdict. Guilty for capital murder, guilty for kidnapping. Aaron Lewis will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Moments after those verdicts came down, he was taken away to jail. Earlier in the day, he actually took the stand in his own defense, telling his story about what happened, that he met Beverly Carter and for some sort of a sexual encounter, but prosecutors getting a chance to hammer home on cross-examination the inconsistencies in his story. Obviously a very emotional day for family members, and after the verdict came down, we were able to catch up with Beverly Carter's son, Carl Jr. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We're lifted in the fact that justice was served.
We've been wearing these chains for 16 months and they just fell off. And I think that my mom's at better peace now, if that makes any sense. It's just, there's so much said about her, lies, and now, you know, we can just continue to spread her wonderful legacy and make it known that she's just a wonderful person.
So obviously a very emotional time for the family member when that verdict came down. Also emotional for the attorneys. Want to bring in reporter Marcy Manley, able to speak with both prosecutors and defense attorneys. Tell me about what you took away from both those interviews.
You know, inside the courtroom, it's all technical. It's very business oriented. You have a jury to convince. Once they walked out, though, they had that verdict. They knew what the decision was. And for prosecutors, it was almost a sense of relief. They are there to represent Beverly Carter, who is the victim in this case. She couldn't represent herself, and they spoke of justice for her and her family, because the family is the one that they had to be close to. The family is the one that they had to coordinate with. So it was emotional. On the flip side of that, Bill James, as the defense attorney, got brought in rather late, and so he kind of dealt with the hand he was dealt in this case. He put up a good defense. He said he felt like it was a fair defense and that they touched on all the points that they needed to, but ultimately he lost. I mean, when you come down with a guilty verdict, and that's never easy for a defense attorney, but maybe it's easier for them to say it in their own words.
I feel like we had a fair trial. I mean, he got his defenses put out there. I think we got just about everything out we could, and did the best we could to get it. And the jury rejected his story. So there we are. I mean, that's the way the system works.
But do you think the jury got the right verdict?
Well, I mean, that's, you know, that they heard the evidence, and I mean, I respect it. There was certainly enough there for them to find him guilty. So I mean, I don't question it, and we respect it.
You can never punish someone harshly enough. Death penalty, life in prison without parole, never evens the score. For Beverly or for any of the other victims that unfortunately we have to advocate for.
I want to bring in our legal analyst, Chanley Painter. She was in there in the courtroom with me the entire time listening to testimony. Obviously, we just heard from attorneys there. It's a difficult time for the defense attorneys. Obviously did not get the verdict that they wanted. What would you say, in your estimation, went wrong for the defense in this case?
Well, they didn't find the defendant's story credible. This jury was able to personally see Aaron Lewis explain his version of events today in court, and the prosecution on cross-examination tripped him up a couple of times, and and made him look defensive and argumentative, and that didn't help his case.
So the jury only deliberating for about an hour. What do you make of the speed of the decision? What does that say about what went on in that deliberation room and what jurors thought about the evidence?
It means that it didn't take them long to deliberate or come to a consensus. They probably left the courtroom this afternoon with guilty in every one of their minds, and so it didn't take them long to come back and say, "We all agree, Judge."
Yeah, and that had to be something that was unanimous, unanimous for capital murder, unanimous for kidnapping. Question now, what's next? We already are hearing that some of the defense attorney motions kind of laid the foundation for an appeal. Is that something that you envision coming, and how will that play out?
Absolutely. Aaron Lewis has to file certain documents within 30 days of the filing of the conviction of this guilty plea today, and he will likely do that. Bill James indicated that he would. And this matter could be held up in the courts for many years from now. 10, 20 years from now, he'll probably be appealing what happened today.
You got anything to say, Aaron?
You just had a really bad day, didn't you?
And that video you saw right there, Aaron Lewis being taken from the courthouse to the jail. Reporter Josh Berry joins us now. You were out there as he was taken away. What's the atmosphere like out there?
And you could hear it, the people even chiming in that weren't involved or weren't in the media. There was a large presence of people out there wanting to get what could possibly be a final look at Aaron Lewis as he's being loaded off to jail. We did get a chance to try and ask him a question if he had anything to say, and he remained silent the only time. The only thing that he did do, Drew, and what a lot of us noticed out there, was he gave a peace sign as the door was closing in that patrol car. But again, you know, safety was a concern for the sheriff's office out there. That's why, for the first time in this trial, they actually pushed everybody back, because everybody was trying to get a final look at Aaron Lewis.
Aaron Lewis being taken away, closure for the family, and really that wraps up our coverage from this Aaron Lewis murder trial. For Josh Berry and Marcy Manley, Chanley Painter, I'm Drew Petrimo at the Pulaski County Courthouse, and we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Drew, thanks very much. Now, much of the prosecution's case hinged on the second person involved in Beverly Carter's death, Aaron Lewis's estranged wife, Crystal Lowry. Last year, Lowry took a plea deal, receiving a 30-year prison sentence. In exchange, she agreed to testify against Lewis. On the stand Thursday, Lowry explained to the judge and the jury that the plot to kidnap Beverly Carter and hold her for ransom, then explained how that fell through and how the pair killed her.
Today's verdict brings to a close more than 15 months of anguish for Beverly Carter's family. She disappeared while showing a home in Scott, southwest of Little Rock, September 25, 2014. Aaron Lewis was arrested 4 days later. The day after that, investigators found Beverly Carter's body in a shallow grave located in Cabot. A lot going on here, and you can find our full coverage of this trial by going to our website, arkansasmatters.com. After the verdict, Carl Carter Jr. tweeting this picture of the Pulaski County Courthouse saying, quote, "I hope I never have to come here again. Rest in so much peace, Mama. Hashtag justice for Beverly."
Beverly Carter left behind 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and as many have described, countless friends.
She was a real estate agent working at Cry-like Realtors in North Little Rock. Family members say her favorite color, pink. And as you've seen throughout the trial, family members have wore pink, and they've worked items of clothing into their memory. She was also an avid runner, and the local running community continues to honor her. In light of her death, new laws have also been passed aimed at increasing safety for real estate agents here in Arkansas.
Tonight, we remember Beverly Carter.